The Taliban Twitter page carried this message: black flags will rise from Khorasan and nothing will be able to return them. The Taliban are now flying their white flags, but black flags come during a time of war.
This is very important. I haven't heard this talked about in the mainstream media at all. But if we look at some of the main end-time prophecies within Islam, I mean, one of the biggest prophecies, there's a prophecy that says armies carrying black flags will come from the area of the east, or Khorasan.
Khorasan is an ancient land that includes modern northwest Pakistan, eastern Iran, and all of Afghanistan. Joel Richardson wrote the best-selling book, The Islamic Antichrist. He explained the importance of this prophecy on the recent CBN webinar, Afghanistan, What's Next After the U.S. Pullout?
It says an army will come from Khorasan carrying black flags. And then it says this: if you see them, give them your allegiance, even if you have to crawl over ice, because this is the army of the Mehdi, or in English, you could just say the Mahdi, the vice regent of Allah. So this is one of their biggest end-time prophecies.
Afghanistan is the heart of Khorasan.
Sheikh Imran Hossein, a Muslim expert on Islamic prophecies, connects the U.S. pullout in Afghanistan to this prophecy.
What is happening in Afghanistan is validating the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that a Muslim army is destined to come out of Afghanistan, of Khorasan, and no one will be able to stop it until it reaches Jerusalem.
The prophecy points here to Jerusalem as the final goal of the Mahdi's army, where it expects to plant its flags there on the Temple Mount.
Jerusalem is the barometer. Jerusalem is the epicenter. Jerusalem is the goal. That's Satan's target. That's where Jesus is going to return, reestablish the throne of his father David, and rule the world from. Satan's very well aware of that.
While some Muslims may not know about these prophecies or even agree with them, Richardson says the world should understand how parts of the Islamic world perceive the U.S. pullout from Afghanistan.
As Christians, of course, we don't give any credence to Islamic prophecy. It's not inspired by God. It's largely inspired by Satan. But the point is this: it gives us a glimpse into the playbook of the enemy. Muslims, many Muslims that are very, very well aware of their own prophecies, they see this as the fulfillment of Islamic prophecy. And there's power in prophecy. It's a tremendous recruiting tool.
The Taliban see themselves as this army, and the ISIS branch in Afghanistan calls itself ISIS-K, K for Khorasan. Given the unfolding developments, it's likely Afghanistan will once again become a magnet for Muslims around the world to join the black flags of Khorasan. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, this is one of those stories that you're not going to see anywhere else. So when we hear about the black flags of Khorasan, that is not just symbolic, but it's actually like a call to action.
Let's go back in history a little bit to the Obama administration, the rise of ISIS in Iraq. So the American military pulls out of Iraq to fulfill a campaign promise. And in that vacuum, ISIS emerges. Politically, we're declaring victory over al-Qaeda. The threat of terrorism is gone. All of this kind of stuff is going on, and ISIS emerges. Now, ISIS starts flying these black flags, and the head of ISIS, al-Baghdadi, says, I am a direct descendant of the prophet. So I am a caliph, and I am reestablishing a caliphate, and I'm raising the black flag. So as an observant Muslim, you must come and follow me. Now, geographically, northern Iraq, which is where ISIL came from, is technically not Khorasan. Let's look at the prophecy so you get a better understanding of it. There will emerge from Khorasan black banners which nothing will repel until they're set up in Jerusalem. Now, this is Islamic prophecy. I don't believe in Islamic prophecy. I don't think it's from God. But there are a billion people who do. So in that, when you see the black flag and they're trying to fit within that prophecy, what happens? Well, here's what happens in the second prophecy. When the black flags come from Khorasan, go to them, even if you have to crawl on snow. For among them is the Khalifa from Allah, the Mahdi. So that's that vice-regent of Allah, the final prophet. So within Islam, Muhammad is the prophet, and that's part of there is no other God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Within that, there is a final prophet to come, and that's the signal for the end of the age.
Yeah. Well, how important is it to understand these prophecies? I mean, obviously, if you understand what the Quran says, you might have an understanding and why the Islamic terrorist groups do what they do. Well,
it also how the Islamic world is literally organized. Now, they're competing prophecies. The Mahdi, the prophet to come, if you're Iranian, he's supposed to emerge from a well that's adjacent to a mosque in Iran. But if you're from Afghanistan, you're going to say, well, it's going to come from Khorasan, so it's, you know, he's coming from here.
Yeah.
140 years ago in Sudan, there was an Islamic leader who claimed to be the Mahdi, and he led a revolt against British rule and beheaded a British general and stuck his head on a stake outside of Khartoum. So these are recurring things and recurring themes, if you will, throughout the Islamic world. But we in the West, in trying to understand what Muslims are trying to do, you really need to pay attention to these prophecies.
Yeah.
There was one that was fulfilled in 1453, and this is directly from Muhammad, where he said, first Constantinople will fall, and then Rome. Well, 1453, the fall of Constantinople, and then it became Istanbul. It was Muslim. And the biggest cathedral in the world, the Hagia Sophia, was converted into a mosque. Mm-hmm. Well, today, they're building a huge mosque in Rome. Wow. And there aren't many Muslims in Italy. So what's the purpose of that? Well, the purpose of that is they intend to fulfill the prophecy of Muhammad. Mm. It's been a long-standing goal of Islam to conquer Europe. And whether that's out of Cordoba in Spain and the attempt at that, you know, with all of these concepts that we've lost in Western civilization, the whole title of kings as defender of the faith didn't arise until the Muslim conquest of at the Battle of Tours. So you look back at history and the Muslim invasions, the siege of Vienna, the fall of Constantinople, all of these things are enormously significant. But unfortunately, we've lost the history. And until we understand from the Muslim point of view, what prophecies are they trying to fulfill, how are they trying to put that into play, what is that organizing principle? And then for us who believe in democracies and freedom of speech and freedom of religion and all of these wonderful things that we have, are we mounting a successful defense? In all the battle against terrorism, we've been focused primarily on military strength and military occupations, and we haven't tried to do the very fundamental work of what is the motivating ideology and how do you change that? And it's almost like we're abandoning it.
Yeah.
But here's another motivator, and this is directly in these two prophecies. Jerusalem. They want to take Jerusalem. So whether you're in Afghanistan or you're in Iran or you're part of Hamas or you're part of Hezbollah, your ultimate goal is to take Jerusalem and to drive the Jews, the Israelis, into the sea.
Yeah, well, it's good to know all of this. It's good. I just got a history lesson. I don't know about you guys, but I did.
You can't understand the headlines today unless you know this history. True. What is the significance of the black flag, and what is the significance of the Taliban saying we're only raising white flags? That's for them enormously significant, and they're saying we want to, not be these radicals trying to take Jerusalem. At whatever point they change will be significant. Yeah. And ISIS-K thinks the Taliban have become apostate. So there's a war within Islam, within Afghanistan, that you aren't proper Muslims and you need to get on board with what we're doing. This is, it's obviously complicated, but at the same time, get informed.
Yes.
That way you will know what the headlines really mean. Absolutely. And again, you won't see this report anywhere else, but you'll see it here. You can always get the latest news and more insight by downloading the CBN News app, so do it today. Hello, I'm Gordon Robertson. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more encouraging videos like this one. Welcome to the 700 Club Interactive family, and God bless you.